Everybody, welcome to Around the Twist, episode 300! Today is June 28th, 2017, and yeah, 300 episodes. So I started this little thing, that's kind of taken over my life, back in, August of 2009. It was right after the first Sock Summit occurred. And decided, why not? There's not any other video casts around, really. There were a lot of audio podcasts at the time, but there really weren't any what we do now, what there are so many of. And I just felt like it was a niche that had to be filled. There was, all these great, wonderful audio podcasts going on, but knitting is such a visual and tactile thing. And while I can't help you with the tactile thing, I can at least help you with the visual. Thanks to the wonders of technology. Hello, thank you, new camera. Not another new camera, but from where we started, if you're able to go back and find that first episode somewhere on YouTube, it's pretty terrible. I was recording it on this little free laptop I got when I purchased my desktop computer. On the webcam that was built into it, it had a lag. At one point, I sounded like I was on Valium underwater. And it was terrible. So things have come a long way since then. Almost 8 years ago, things have definitely changed. I got married. I've had twins. I've moved states. I've moved jobs. I've taken a year hiatus. It's been a very busy 8 years-ish, almost. So while this isn't the technical anniversary, we are like a month and change away from that actual day. I figured why not talk about it on episode 300. So big changes have happened since you all were kind enough to start watching me on this little thing that started off in a spare bedroom at my house. And turned into this huge outpouring of wonderfulness that I've made so many friendships over the years that it's been so nice. I can't even put it into words. I mean, everything from Plurk to Google Hangouts to Tiny Chat to when we did VKNs, everything. It's been wonderful to have. Definitely has gotten me out of my shell. And even though I'm not traveling so much currently, hopefully in a few years that will change when the family is a bit older, it's still nice to have those kind of connections and to be able to sit down with you guys every week with a cup of coffee and my knitting and just get to chat. And so now that we're 3 minutes into the show that's about knitting and I haven't showed you a lick of knitting, here we go. What's on my needles? Riding around in my Doctor Who Dalek TARDIS bag that my mom got me a while ago from the Silver Shed, which I talked about it last week. It's this beautiful wedge-shaped bag, stands up on its own, has some nice fluffy interfacing in it. Inside it is my First Point of Libra shawl, which, where is the thing? Yep, and here's why, herp derp, it's a pony. Easier if I show you with this thing rather than the black and white pattern I have printed off. So I purchased this, the First Point of Libra. It's a design by Laura Ayler. She has both the First Point of Libra shawl, which obviously this is what this is, as well as a cowl. And these were originally part of a mystery knit along, I found out when I went to look the pattern up on Ravelry. Pattern is available at Ravelry. I was able to purchase it through My Sister Knits, which is where I got the kit as well. So it came in this lovely little stamped little drawstring bag that is now holding all of the bitty balls of the gradient yarn since I've moved on to the Bear color, but I'll show you that in a second. The yarn is, of course, that's not on that one. It is from Marionated Yarns. It is her Scrumptious HT fingering weight which is an 80-10-10 superwash merino, cashmere, and nylon blend. So it came with 6 colors of a smaller amount of yarn and then 1 large skein of the main color. I'm only using 5 of the colors. I didn't end up using the amethyst, which is this gorgeous, gorgeous purple that does not show when I go closer. It goes very blue. No. It is this deep, rich, like the most beautiful, luscious amethyst, the gemstone that you have ever seen. That is this. I love this color. However, it did not work into my gradient that I had. So the gradient that I am using has 5 colors. The darkest color, it is her Tidal Pool gradient, and it has, it is her Smooth Sailing gradient with the colors of Tidal Pool, Sea Glass, Glacial Lake, Arctic Ice, and Polar Frost. So let me hold this up so you all can see that. And then the main color is called North Sea. So the pattern, because it was written as a mystery knit along, it's done very modular so that you can do a chunk of this. And then the next week you're going to pick up here and go this way. And then you're going to pick up here and go this way. Which it took me a while reading the pattern. I had to read it through 3 or 4 times, which is not something I normally do. So to wrap your head around that. So last week I showed you I had this big long scarfy thing. There we go. Try to use the head. That's so not going to work. So you start down here. You knit your way up. You knit your way up. You put a little triangle bit on the end, and then you pick up all down one side. And you start knitting a triangle bit. It's going to be a triangle shawl. I showed you guys the picture. You start knitting a triangle bit going lip. This is so not working. I need about 6 hands the way this shawl is built. So you pick up along the short edge and you start knitting this way, decreasing as you go. And you work your way until you have very few stitches left and you've got a lovely center section where that white center section is. That's what I'm working on now. Obviously my gradient is opposite of this. Rather than having a light main color, it has a very dark main color. So the main color is called North Sea. Looks very navy blue black. See, oh yeah, but you get it up here and you can see all the teals and greens, and it's almost like it was dyed teal, green, blue, and then over dyed with black or over dyed with navy. It's this gorgeous, gorgeous color. And all I had was this color block edged thing, wrong way, this way. All I had was this last week, and that's the wrong side to show you. Yeah, I've been doing this for 8 years, you can tell, right? All I had was this strip here. And picked up the amount of stitches called for, without giving away the secret sauce. Oh my goodness, I'm making a pig's ear out of this. All right. And I've been slowly whittling my way down, and I've got a ways to go. But I have done, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I can hear you all yelling numbers. I can hear you. Stop it. I've done 34 garter ridges so far. So I have decreased down to less than 100 stitches. I hear a baby girl not sleeping again. Hubby's upstairs, he can deal with it. So hubby's been doing a lot of gaming in the evenings. He's still working his way for the second time through Witcher 3, playing it at a harder level, and just got his butt handed to him on a side mission he didn't do the first time through last night, so that was fun. I got to help by looking up how to get him through that side mission without him dying for the 5th or 6th time. I asked him after the second time he died, do you want me to look up how to get you past this? And he's like, no, I'm going to do this. And then he died 2 more times. I'm like, I'm looking it up. Walked him through and he did fine. But people on the message boards for Witcher 3 were even saying, yeah, this side mission's tougher than even the boss battles, so good luck. So a lot of this has been accomplished while hubby has been gaming, and I'm liking it. a lot of garter stitch, but for some reason it's like, I talked about a clean slate last week. That's what I needed. I don't know why. It's garter stitch has just taken over for some reason, and it's been that way for a while. Hello. The Wayet shawls. I'm wearing, I think it's Yowza Wayet shawl number 3, if I remember right. The yarn is Miss Babs Yowza in Berlin. I know someone will ask. So that's what I've been working on. So like I said, the pattern is The First Point of Libra Shawl by Laura Aylor, Aylor, over on Ravelry. The yarn is from Marinated Yarns, and I purchased it at my sister Knits. I think I got the kit for, oh, has it on the back, $89. And I was also able to purchase the pattern from them, and they both gave me a hard copy and also purchased it for me on Ravelry. So, yay. So the kit's wonderful because then you have everything that you need without having to buy 6 full skeins of yarn or 7 full skeins of yarn to get through it. So I'm not sure if my sister Knit still has it. I purchased it last summer, I want to say, when my mom was here. Last summer or last spring, she and I went over there. But you can always be in contact with them. They do have a website. Okay, working on the center triangle. So that's it. That's all I've been working on. Various and sundry other things. Tour de Fleece starts July 1st, Saturday. I'm working this weekend, of course. So my Tour de Fleece goal, I'm not joining a team. You can go over to Ravelry. There are tons of teams. I know Acreworks has one. Fiber Optic has one. There are tons of Tour de Fleece groups. If you go to the Tour de Fleece group itself, you can look and see all the teams. Some of them have requirements, some of them don't. Some of them like, hey, join, it's just for fun. We're supporting each other. My thing's still kind of like with the Knitting Olympics, Ravelenics. I like to set my own goal and not necessarily go by anyone's rules aside from the rules Yarn Harlot established when she started the Knitting Olympics, those many years ago, which was you cast on when the flame's lit, you have to be done by the time the flame's extinguished, and make it a challenge for yourself, whatever that may be. It might be knit 1 row every day. It might be, I remember the first year I did it, I knew I couldn't finish a pair of socks, so my goal was to finish 1 sock. 1. Another year it was a lace shawl. It just depends. Every year is different. So Tour de Fleece this year, I'm still working huge, ridiculously long hours, and I still have toddlers who are more likely to stick their fingers into any moving parts on the spinning wheel. I'm going to set myself a goal of spinning at least on the nights or the days. Nap-time needleworker, anyone? Spinning on the days that I am not working. So that's my goal. So at least 4 days out of every week, I'm going to sit down at the spinning wheel, even if it's just for 5 minutes. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to spin something. Don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be something. That's my goal. I don't have a weight amount that I want to get through, nothing. I just want to spin. Because I don't think I've spun since last Tour de Fleece, and that's kind of sad that my wheels are neglected that badly. So, all right. Let's do a couple of questions from the Any Questions thread, or this is going to be a really short, really short episode 300. Knitwit 7501 over on Ravelry. Faye, what's best, inner pole ball, outer pole ball, or cakes? Personal preference? It's whatever you want. Some people are perfectly happy. Well, here, I've got some stuff. So, you have, what she's talking about, you have a skein, like this. It opens up into a gigantic loop. You can knit from the loop if you want things to end in tiers. I've done it once before, made it most of the way through. I think one of the Wayet shawls I did this way. Just would unfurl the loop on my lap, knit from that, and when I was ready, I'd twist it back up into a skein. Done. You don't have to have a ball winder. You don't have to employ your husband to be your Swift, or a kitchen chair, or whatever you have. I personally, It's something I like to do once in a while to challenge myself. It's not something I like to do all the time. So skeins can be wound into center pole balls. Balls in general. Let's get one that shows up a little better. This one will show up a little better. So we have this little thing, and you see the little pattern? That comes from the ball winder, which I have my old original Royal ball winder. The classic. The blue and white. Clamps on the edge of your desk. Your guide can fold down, but pops out. And it goes around in circles. It's normally not, I can't hold it steady enough. But it wibble wobbles back and forth, goes around in a circle, and makes a ball that looks kind of like that. You have two choices once it is wound into a ball with a ball winder. Oh, and if you don't have, here's the other thing that you need. If you want to use one of those, you either need someone who is very patient, a couple of kitchen chairs, or you need an umbrella swift. Or there's also tabletop swifts. I like the umbrella swifts. They open up, the loop goes around the outside. This also clamps to a table or to a chair, whatever you have. And then once it's out, once it's out, this little doohickey at the bottom locks up. And as you wind, this will spin and unwind your skein, your skein as you're winding it onto the ball winder. So once you have the ball, you have pulled it off the ball winder. You can do one of two things. Here's your end to unwind from the outside, or let's see if I can find, there's the center-ish, where is it? You've got the bit that went into the center, and you can pull from the center. However, you might have yarn barf, like that. Just happens I wound it too tight. That's fine, because I'm not using these as center pull balls. I'm pulling from the outside. My preference with that is because, number one, yarn barf. Never know when that's going to happen, and then you got this huge glob of yarn from the outside. So I like to wind into balls and pull from the outside. Also, if you pull from the middle, your ball stays the same size, but it gets looser and smushier and eventually turns into this flat pancake, and when you go to pull, again, yarn barf. So I like to make the balls and then pull from the outside, personal preference. If I have a small enough bag, I used to have a little, I don't even know where it went. It's probably somewhere back in the craft room packed in a box. I used to have this wonderful, it was basically a sock yarn bag to use for your sock projects. It had clear sides, it had China silk, top and bottom, a drawstring, and a carabiner that you could clip onto the belt loop of your jeans and walk around and knit. I loved that thing. Because the circumference of the bag was so small, I could wedge the 4-ounce ball of sock yarn, one of these in. I could wedge that in, pull from the middle, and it would hold the ball in place. And obviously slowly collapse down as you use the inner part of the ball. There's also, like Opal does these put-ups that you can either draw from the outside or you go digging around on the inside, find what you hope is the end, yank it out whichever end of the ball you want, and pull from there. Or you can take and wind these into a center pull, a ball like this as well, which is just a pain in the butt. This is ready to go. That's the one thing I love about Opal, Regia, all of those. You can grab these and just go. If you need a project quick and you don't have time to stop and wind a hank of yarn, you can grab one of these and you've still got sock yarn ready to go. Yeah. Personal preference. It's do what you want. I know some people will hand wind a hank skein of yarn into a center pull ball using a nostipinna, which you can use anything for a nostipinna. You don't need a fancy wooden one. You can use I've used a highlighter for one before because it's what I had in my pocket. I happened to be winding a ball at work and the girl wanted a center pull ball of yarn. Okay, cool. You can use your thumb as a nostipinna if you really want to just to get it started. So yeah, what's best? Whatever you prefer. I've tried them all. It's just personal preference. That's all it comes down to. hopefully that answered your question, Faye. Let's do one more. His Handmade. This is Diana. I'm way behind on podcasts, Instagram, Ravelry, etc. Tara's glasses. How did you know she needed them so young? What signs made you take her to the eye doctor? Just curious, as a mom of 7, I didn't take mine until they were to start school. Kudos to you for catching it so early. Didn't catch it early. It was actually our family doctor. Took the twins in for their 2-year appointment, I believe it was, to get their vaccines. And we had kind of been noticing her, let me think, which eye was crossing. Which eye did we had to patch her left eye. So her right eye, her left eye would be looking straight ahead and her right eye would cross, like be looking toward her nose while the left eye is looking straight ahead. She was getting a lazy eye, is what it boiled down to. So he recommended a pediatric optometrist, Dr. Arnold, who was very good. We took her to see him and he gave I can't remember the full medical term for it. Basically, she has a lazy eye. So we had to strengthen that eye. So it was glasses, and she's also, I'm nearsighted, she's farsighted. So she can see things far away, but not so much close up. So we were patching her strong eye, her left eye, for 2 hours a day while wearing the glasses, and it strengthened the right eye. And we had to patch her eye daily for 9 or 10 months, I want to say. And so she hasn't been needing the patches for about 5-6 months now. And seems to be doing okay. There's still times, especially when she's tired, I'll notice her right eye starting to cross a little bit. But and then lately, she's actually been taking her glasses and pushing them up on her forehead so I can see. So we've got another appointment coming up. He likes to check kids about every 3-4 months. So I'll let you know where the glasses issue is with her, because yeah, we'll see. So that's how it's nothing that made me take her to the eye doctor. It's something we mentioned it to our family doctor, pediatrician, and he's the one who made the recommendation that we go see. And yeah, that's it. I mean, our son is fine. We're not planning on taking him to get his eyes checked until school age as well. So that's normal unless you notice something really, really off or your family doctor catches it. That's all I can tell you. Okay, that's going to be it. If you have any questions you'd like me to answer, please, please, please head over to the Round the Twist board over on Ravelry. There is a sticky thread at the top of the board called Any Questions. I will answer anything within reason. We are down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions left. So if you want to see this section keep going, let me know by posting a question, because without questions, I can't do any questions. I can't do the segment. So please, this part depends on you. And I'm going to keep drinking my coffee, have my little nap time needleworker segment, so while everybody's napping, including hubby. And I guess I will catch up with you guys until next week. Happy knitting.